Welcome to the Youth with a Mission News Show for November of 2024. This month, we hear another story from the YWAM Together Gathering, hear a testimony about a healing in India, find out about YWAM's continued work in Lebanon during the current conflict. YWAM Liberty is set sail after a refit. We also find out a bit about what YWAM is doing in Mongolia and Hong Kong. We'll get an update about the bus accident in Benin and more. So thank you for downloading this, the 151st episode of the Youth with Mission News Show podcast. I'm your host, Bill Hutchison. You can contact us, subscribe to future episodes, leave comments, and find links to all the stories we talk about for the show notes for this podcast at YWAMpodcast.com/151. You can also watch us live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook right now. So you can find links to all of those accounts also at YWAMpodcast.com. So we actually have another story coming from YWAM Together with this story from Dara from Cambodia.
Hello, my name is Dara. I am from YWAM Cambodia. So today, I'm going to share my story with all of you. So after horrific genocide of Khmer, I was born as a Cambodian child in the refugee camp in Thailand. As a young boy, I still remember so many foreigners like you come to help our people. And I did not understand why they would come and helping us while we are killing each other. And later on, my family returned back to Cambodia from the refugee camp. And my stepfather, he was so violent and beat my mom up every day. And my mom decided to take all of us, 5 of us, run away from him. And we end up living in the slum area and walking on the street at the capital city, Phnom Penh. My family was so desperate, hopeless, no future. And then my mom decided to find a place for us to stay. And we tried to find the orphanage, but every orphanage was so full. And finally we found one place. And my mom tried to take all of us and leave us there, but they said they cannot accept only the children, but they would accept all of us as a family and live together. And later on, I found out it was YWAM Center. So at the YWAM Center, my mom got trained. She got skill and job, and they began to share the gospel to all of us. I got to eat the hot meal first time in my life at the YWAM Center. I got to celebrate my first birthday ever at the YWAM Center. And I got to hear the gospel clearly at the YWAM Center. And my whole family decided to give our life to Jesus. And now my brother and I, we are a YWAM leader full-time. And we're discipling our next generation. And I believe that through all the story that He restoring my life, my family, and God will transform our nation in one generation. And I'm so grateful to many leaders that been walking alongside with me, and they champion me to be a leader so that I can champion other young people to be a leader too. And through this story, I believe that Cambodia no longer called as a killing field, but will be a living field and sending field to the nations. And this is my story.
There are so many good stories that have come out of YWAM Together and the things that God has done with the people who are there. And we have at least 2 more stories that we'll be sharing with you in the upcoming months. So I'd really encourage you to, if you can, subscribe so you can hear those stories and not miss out. So YWAM-DC's main ministry is David's Tent DC. Now, we shared a bit with you a few months ago about what they're doing. But what it is a 24/7 house of prayer and worship in the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Now, David's Tent actually just celebrated 3,333 days, or 79,992 hours of non-stop worship and prayer. God has supernaturally provided resources, teams, and finances to keep this vigil of day and night worship and prayer over the Americas and the nations. Truly, they say it's a testimony of the grace of Jesus. So come join the songs and exalt the King of Kings and Lord of Lords in America's capital city while Amos 9:11 comes to life. They're looking at partnering with other worship and outreach teams, and you can find out more about it on the David Tent's website, which is davidstentdc.org. Now we'll actually get to hear a powerful testimony from Impact World Tour in the Netherlands.
What were some moments where you really felt like you were living in God's authority?
One of my favorite stories, I like to tell this, was when I was, years ago, I was in India, and we were doing an evangelistic campaign, and this little girl, she's about 12, comes walking over, and she says, "Can you pray for my dad? He's sick."
Yeah.
And I say, "Yes." And then she ran off, so I ran after her to go with her to her dad, but I thought the dad was there.
Yeah.
And we ended up in the middle of a dark forest, and all I knew was following the little girl because I didn't know how to get back. But we come to this little hut. It's about this high. That was their house. It was an L-shaped hut. And she goes, "Okay, my daddy's in there. He can't talk and he can't walk."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, I have no idea." And I get in, and there's a mom on the far end of the hut on that side, and she's cooking over a fire. And then it goes like this, and there's a guy on a kind of a bed, and he looks like a bag of bones, like it's all skin and bones, and he has all his gods around him. So I'm standing by the bed like this because the house is small, and she translates me. She does speak English, and she says because she went to a missionary school. And as I look at the gods, I look at him and I go, "Are those your gods?" And he goes, "Yeah." He knocks, right? He can't talk. And then I say, "Well, you know your daughter serves another god?" And she translates, and he's like, and I said, "Well, I come in the name of the God your daughter serves. And you should get up and walk."
Yeah.
And I had just so much faith. And he literally stood up, and the little girl's looking at her dad like, "This is incredible."
Wow.
And then I tell him to come, and we walk around, and his wife sits behind the pot cooking on a fire going, and I tell the girl, "Tell your mom to feed him." So she gives food, and he's eating. And as he stands there, I go, "Would you like to serve the God of your daughter?" And he goes like this. And I said, "Well, Jesus is jealous. You will have to get rid of all the other ones, burn them, throw them away, and you can only have him. You can't just add him to the group. You want that?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then I said, "Okay, then pray with me. Repeat this." And she goes, "My dad can't talk." I said, "Your dad also couldn't walk."
Yeah.
So I tell him, and he repeated the prayer, gave his life to Jesus. And yeah, I think that was one of those moments. The moment I walked in that hut, I looked at those guys and I think they're all false,
yeah.
But our God is alive, and I'm a son. So that was one of my favorite stories because I didn't even pray. It was so real there that I said, "Just get up and walk," and it happened, right? So, and I think that's the authority available in the Lord.
So that's a pretty powerful story to hear. So if you head over to impactworldtour.nl, you can find out more. They have a lot of testimonies actually on their YouTube channel as well, which you'll find linked to at ywampodcast.com/151. And yeah, have a look, see what else God is doing in the nations. Now, in episode 148 in September, we reported about the fire that almost burned down our YWAM location in Chico, California. Now, there's heavy rains right now, and there is new concerns about flooding and the only bridge to the location possibly being swept away.
530 Richardson Springs, east of the Chico Airport, is another area we're keeping a close eye on during this storm. Much of the vegetation in that area was wiped away by the Park Fire. Action News Now reporter Brianda Lemus shares with us the concerns residents have about mudslides and possible flooding.
If we get too much rain at once, it could actually be really dangerous.
When you enter Richardson Springs, the Park Fire burn scar is impossible to miss. The majority of this community was scorched by the Park Fire back in July. Since the Park Fire, the organization Youth with a Mission has done its own work in cleaning up debris and again now near the historic hotel it occupies as the storm comes through. I spoke with one person who said she and her roommate aren't concerned about flooding, but definitely concerned about mudslides since they are surrounded by hills.
But it does make me a little afraid of just, the dirt, like mudslides that could happen because of all the scarring and whatnot. But it did thankfully come slowly at first, the rain. So I know that was good to put down roots and everything. But now, this is a downpour.
Richardson Spring is a one-way in, one-way out single road community. The road has multiple bridges, but this bridge is a concern they have with the possibility of flooding.
So I had that same thought as I was driving up today, that I know what bridge you're talking about, and it's right by the house that was, the garage is burnt. So that bridge is definitely a cause for concern. The fire burned really hot in that area. That's an area where the canyon really narrows. And so when the fire came through, I think it came through like really powerfully in that spot.
Penning says the last time the Mud Creek that runs through this community overflooded was in the 1990s. She does say the water in the creek has gotten darker due to the park fire, but doesn't think the creeks around will overflood. Richardson Springs also received help from the North Valley Community Foundation as they provided rice straw to use for erosion control. In Butte County, Brianda Lemus for Action News Now.
As the storm continues through our region, those living in the park fire burn scar are taking extra precautions in protecting their homes.
So you can follow the situation at ymchico.org. Now, last time I was there visiting the website just a couple of days ago, there was no new updates, which is good. It probably tells us that there's nothing happening. But yeah, ymchico.org, and you should be able to check that out. Now, I thought we could find out what the mission is for YWAM Deaf World in Jamaica.
Hey, did you know that only 2% of deaf people know Jesus? I'm here at YWAM, Youth with a Mission, Deaf World Jamaica, where our goal is to see the 2% of deaf Christians reach the 98%. We believe that the 2% can be trained, equipped, and sent to go unto all the world of deaf unbelievers. How? We run 2 programs, the Discipleship Training School, the DTS, and the Discipleship Bible School, the DBS, here in Jamaica. The DTS is a 5-month program where students have the opportunity to come to Jamaica for 3 months to learn what it means to have a relationship with God. Through classroom learning and a live-learn environment, they're provided a biblical foundation. The next 2 months, the students fly to a different country where they apply everything they have learned in the lecture phase and share it with the deaf community in that nation. For many deaf young adults, this is the first time they have experienced a mission trip where they are able to see God's heart for the world. The Discipleship Bible School, the DBS, is a 3-month program where students go deep into the Bible and read through Genesis through Revelation. They see God's heart for themselves, His people, and the world. We believe that God will use these 2 programs to raise up the next generation of deaf believers and send them to the world. Will you join us in reaching the deaf community with the love of Jesus Christ? Thank you so much for your prayers and support.
So you can head on over to ywamjamaica.org/deafworld to find out more, including how you might be able to get involved. Now, Christianity Today recently published an article about the war in Lebanon, and that included an interview with one of our teams who is currently serving there. Tech problems. So Daniel Sutter, a missionary from Switzerland, encountered both sides. His Lebanese friends blame Israel for everything bad that's happened, and his friends in the West reflectively support everything that Israel does. But with tears in his eyes, he said that 2,350 Lebanese had died since the war began, some of whom were relatives of his close friends. It breaks my heart, Sutter said. This is the country we love. It hurts. The youth of the mission or YWAM building he served in until the road became too dangerous for the 30-minute drive from his home displays a sign proclaiming Jesus in English and Arabic, with a picture of a cross and a heart in between. It is located in Dimor, a Christian village on the coastal highway from Beirut to Sidon. Yet every route he could use to get there has been bombed. Dimor was the site of an infamous massacre by Palestinians during the Lebanese Civil War. The next village over is still home to some Palestinian refugees, and few Christians will ever set foot there, Sutter said. Syrian migrants worked the banana groves that stretch from the road to the seashore, resented for receiving aid from international agencies that is less forthcoming for disadvantaged citizens. YWAM's community center somehow brings everyone together. When the war in Gaza began, the YWAM Lebanese leader asked Sutter, "Is this where God called you? If so, stay." Another foreign missionary left abruptly, citing the mental health of his children. "Don't Lebanese have kids too?" one staffer retorted. The challenging conversation strengthened Sutter's commitment, and he said his local friends were chill. They had lived through war before. Now, after a visit back to Switzerland for the summer to visit their sending church, the family returned back to Lebanon on September 23rd. As they waited at the airport gate on September 23rd, they received reports about the widespread Israel bombing that had begun. Hundreds of thousands of Lebanese were displaced, now also from Tyre, the Bekaa Valley, and the southern suburbs of Beirut. The war was no longer only in the south. The family moved into guest housing at the Dimor Center and joined in caring for the 300 people taking shelter at the village school. Their kids worked as hard as the parents, Sutter said, learning the impact of war while still sleeping soundly at night. But when the school started, they received the local YWAM office's blessing to return home and shift their service to another center in Burj Hamad, a Christian neighborhood in the capital city with many Syrian refugees and displaced Shiites. And in consultation with their church, they adjusted their evacuation trigger. When Israel began its ground invasion of Lebanon on October the 1st, local analysis suggested they would remain safe in their home in the foothills. However, if Israel forces headed north towards Beirut, then the Sutters would evacuate to Switzerland. "Now, I'm assessing risk. Before, I was ignoring it," said Sutter. "You can cowardly leave or cowardly stay. I want to be here for the right reasons, not the thrill of adventure or the fear of boredom back home." He hopes his story will encourage prayer for Lebanon, perhaps inspiring others to come and serve. Meanwhile, the missionary from Ohio anticipates the arrival of 3 new teammates who are already preparing to join her. Hamoud wants Gaza's Palestinians to have their basic right to life restored. Botros wants concerned Christians, instead of just sending funds for emergency aid, to address the root cause for displacement and to lobby their governments to end the war. Now, you can read the full article if you head over to Christianity Today, and we'll have the link to it again at YWAMpodcast.com/151. Now, YWAM Families New Zealand recently came out with a new video about the work that they're engaging in.
Kia ora. We are Masin Kala and Matai Tonga, and we are the base leaders down here at YWAM Matamata in New Zealand, also known as Family Ministries New Zealand. And down here at the bottom of the earth, we love to celebrate the all generations and the families.
Yeah, our ministry here, we love to help restore, disciple, equip, and mobilize family and all the generations into ministry and then out into the nations. What's really unique about this space, but YWAM in general really, is how we live in community. And in that space, you know, it can be really messy. It takes, a real village to raise a family. You know, we all are in part of a family. And that's where we get our values and our foundations and our culture and all of these things. So when we're in a community together, we can really learn so much from each other. We can really learn to love and understand and be gracious with each other. It really just makes it a safe space for people to come with children, with any problems they may have, and just have a space where they can be authentic and really spend time away to go deeper in their relationships with God and in their marriages and with each other. I think it's important to note that in today's society, you know, with our ever-changing world, that we do really train and equip resilient families and marriages who can withstand the cultural norms of the day. There's a Māori saying called whakawhanaungatanga, and it means a coming together of a lot of people. It's like a oneness there. And so that's something we really value here on base, is that close-knit togetherness. We are all able to serve together as husbands and wives and families. We're all in. We're really passionate about getting alongside the people that come here and just seeing them transformed through what God can do and us serving.
As one of the only family-oriented bases down here in the Pacific, we love to go out into our Pacific neighbours and equip in the areas of families of how to have good family foundations, because when families thrive, nations thrive as well.
So if you have a passion and a desire to see families and all generations thrive in their communities and in their nations, then come and join us.
Come. Haere mai, lako mai. Because remember, whatever you say yes to today will impact the generations tomorrow.
So you can visit ywammatamata.co.nz to find out more about the ministry, and even, like they invited you to do, maybe look at coming there. Now I should get this report from YWAM Ships Kona about the YWAM Liberty. So we have sailed. With great joy, we celebrate an incredible milestone nearly 2 years after signing the purchase of our YWAM Ships property in Kona. We've successfully completed the life extension project on the MV YWAM Liberty. We've set sail. Just last week, the ship departed from Port Moresby, heading to Madang, our operational base port in Papua New Guinea. This marks a historic moment for us as we dock at the first ever YWAM dock dedicated to our mission. We're filled with gratitude for everyone who has followed our journey, especially through the challenges of COVID-19, which brought so much to a standstill. To all who worked tirelessly to make the day possible, thank you. Your support has truly brought this vision to life. YWAM Liberty is currently looking for deckhands, engine crew, and general hands to volunteer on the MV YWAM Liberty. You can contact them through their website, ywamshipskona.org. Now I thought we could hear about YWAM's ministry in Nasanama in Malawi.
In a world where many have remained unreached, God spoke to us with a clear vision to preach the gospel where it had never been preached.
Many people here, they're farmers, and we felt like the Lord is challenging us that we can equip the people instead before we start reaching out with the gospel. So we started reaching out using the method of farming God's way, which we call Foundation for Farming. And through that, the Lord started giving us the key people, which we call men of peace. When they give their life to the Lord, we baptize them and we train the same, that they start also reaching out to other people, which we call disciple-making movement. And we use DBS, which is Discover Bible Study, in the groups, reaching to other people.
But accepting Christ came with persecution. Being rejected by their families, they were forced out of their homes.
Before I became a Christian, I was lost, but God's love intervened after witnessing how God used the pastor's prayer to heal my sister. I became drawn to Christianity. Eager to learn more, I would secretly meet with Mr. Joseph in the evenings, often in secluded areas to study God's Word. However, when my parents discovered my newfound faith, they rejected me and forced me to leave home. Despite the challenges, my conviction grew stronger and I embraced my Christian identity.
Some of these people, they have been chased from home, and we see that the needs of how can we help them, that because they're struggling, they don't have a place to stay, and we prayed and we felt the Lord start to speak to us to help them with simple houses.
After giving my life to Christ, I faced rejection and lost everything. Sleeping in public toilets became my reality, but God sent Youth with a Mission to rescue me, providing a home and restoring my dignity. I'm living proof that with God's love and compassionate people, redemption is possible.
Raising 6 kids in a broken house was hard, but Youth with a Mission changed our story. They built us a new home, giving us safety, love and hope. We are so grateful for YWAM's kindness, showing us God's love in action.
Join us in this journey. Let's bring hope to the unreached, demonstrate God's love until all have heard the gospel.
So if you head on over to Nisanama, which is nsanama.ywam.ws, you can find out more about their ministry. I was excited to see these updates come to us from one of our YWAM teams who are currently serving in Mongolia.
Hello, my name is Unra. I'm excited to share incredible journey of our team ministry. And there was a time we felt hopeless about our nations and thinking there was no future for our young people. But God speaks clearly to us through His word, and it says, "Surely there is a future and your hope will not be cut off." And that future is in the hands of teenagers. There was the turning point in 2018, inspired by this Bible words. We started our teen ministry with a bold vision. And over the past 6 years, we have seen God move powerfully, holding 16 teen discipleship training courses and conferences, and touching lives of thousands of teenagers by His love and truth. The Teenagers Discipleship Training course is the life-changing 14-day experience where the young people come together to connect, discover their identity in Christ, and also grow in godly community. And through this course, the teens break free from their old habit and heal from their past wounds and choose to forgive, embrace God's truth, and make the life-changing decision to surrender fully to Christ. But it doesn't stop there. And after teenagers, we invite these young people step into leadership role as a volunteer staff. We empowering them to serve and mentor the next generation. These young people, not just the future, they are the leaders of today, and they're passionate about reaching their generation and also sharing the same breakthrough and same overwhelming love of God that transformed their own lives. We as a teen ministry, we believe in the power of these young people to shape their generation. And they have a unique ability to connect their peers in a way the older generation simply cannot. And think about this. The Genghis Khan once conquered the half of the world with violence and weapon. But our vision is to conquer the world with something way more powerful, the good news of Jesus Christ. And we are building a generation with the solid foundation of faith, the generation that serve God with all their hearts. The generation will carry His message to the ends of the earth. We know that we can accomplish this vision by His power.
Hello guys, my name is Munko. I'm from YWAM UB. Our family serving in the Interior Province, Chinggis City. I served the last few days in YWAM Ulaanbaatar. Now we are serving in this Chinggis City. We are doing the youth church and youth sports ministry. And our goal is we want to start the new YWAM base there. And but now we have just young peoples, but still they're doing well, and I'm soccer coach of these young peoples, and they're growing well. And last October we started in the teenagers church, and so our soccer players interested in the teenagers church, and please pray for us. And if you have the opportunity, please you can be their partnership. Thank you.
So you can check out YWAMUBmongolia.org to find out more about their ministry, including how you might be able to partner with them. So we actually do have an update from the YWAM Benin bus accident that we reported to you last month. So it is with great sadness that we inform you that our dear brother, Matteo Chando, mentor, facilitator, and trainer of the DBS at YWAM in West Africa, went to be with Jesus this morning on November the 21st, 2024. Matteo was involved in the bus accident that occurred 19 days ago at the Nigeria-Benin border. He had been in a coma under medical care since the accident. Please continue to pray for his wife, family, and all of us who worked so closely with him. So that's sad to hear with that bus accident, the second in a couple of years, actually the second this year in Africa. But if you head over to YWAM.org, they are updating with what's happening with the people who were involved. So right now, we'll actually get to hear from YWAM Ascension, they'll say it, in Paraguay.
Paraguay, the heart of Latin America, pulsates with the vibrant energy of its capital. The city combines historical charm with a dynamic and accessible daily life. This city hosts the cheapest base in the whole world, but don't be fooled by its low cost, because that doesn't mean anything. I invite you to discover every wonder that this base has to offer. But before I show you what's in there, I want to show you what's out here. Come on. But now, yes, come on. This is the base, where we have specific areas where you can spend quality time, where you can have an encounter with God in the way that you connect with Him. We also have the coffee. Where you can enjoy a nice coffee, either hot or cold, and see everything that we have in merch. This place can be a place to work, to read a book, or share a delicious acai and have some quality time with the people we love the most. This is the dining room, where we enjoy the delicious meals that Aunt Marisa prepares for us. We are training young people of different ages, knowing that our mission is much bigger. And before this is over, I want to take you to a place. Let's go. One way to have fun away from the base is to eat good food. We also share testimonies at our open nights, telling what God is doing in each one's life. We know that what we have to do is much bigger than we imagine. And I want to invite you to be part of the next DTS so we can be ignited by Jesus. Sign up.
You can visit the website, which is YWAMAsuncion.com, to find out more. In addition to their DTS, they also do other ministry in the area, which might be something you're interested in finding out about. So YWAM Provence will actually be running quite a few seminars in the first quarter of next year. So January 15th to 26th, they'll be running their Foundations for Intercultural Studies seminar. January 27th to 31st will be the Basics and History of Islam. February 10th to 14th will be looking at different approaches with Muslims. The March 3rd to 8th will be looking at discipleship making movements. March 10 to 14 is the Word by Heart training. April 7 to 11, they'll be looking at God's heart for transformation through community development. Now you can head on over to ymprovence.com to find out more about the seminars and other ministries that they're providing there, with a lot of them focusing on the Islamic or Muslim world. It's YWAM Gateway out of Hong Kong as she gives us this update about the ministry that they're doing there.
This is YWAM Gateway!
So week 6 of the lecture phase in the DTS. We've had 5 amazing guest speakers from Hong Kong, Malaysia, and the US speaking on topics about discipleship, identity, worship, hearing God's voice. It's been amazing, and we know that these 3 students have been so blessed in this time, and we're excited for what God will do in the next 6 weeks of the DTS lecture phase. Here I am at UMTC, gonna ask people to describe what it is in one word.
Great.
Enriching. Amazing.
Inspiring. Spirit-filled.
Radical, dude. Muy bien.
Oh yes, we just released versions of the songs Holy Forever in Cantonese. It's already on our YouTube channel, YWAM Gateway Worship. I hope that and I pray that it will be a blessing for you all. And new songs are coming soon.
Alright, let's see what our bass leader is doing.
Hi. Hey there.
What are you doing?
I'm just fixing one of our storage servers. The power supply blew up, so I put a new one. Let's see if it works. It works.
Hi everyone.
Wait.
This is YWAM Gateway.
I started too late. Let's see what our bass staff Diego is doing.
Oh, he's the bass leader.
Hi everyone.
All right. Sorry, I accidentally had that in a loop. But if you do visit ymgateway.hk, you can find out more. It sounds like they're doing a lot of different things in there. Some of it might be of interest to you. So YWAM Nelson is actually offering a building discipleship course for those who desire to partner with God in a practical way, as he rebuilds and restores the hearts of his children. This 8-week course is designed to encourage discipleship while offering hands-on experience in building and construction. Now, if you desire to serve the Lord by learning a practical skill like construction, does your heart resonate with God's desire to restore and rebuild people's lives as he ministers his love to their hearts? The course offers an opportunity to partner with God using your interest and natural abilities as your faith in him is grown and matured. Come experience the heart of YWAM, knowing God and making him known, and experience how it expresses God's desire to reach the practical and spiritual needs of others. Now you can find out more about the Building Discipleship course over at ywamnelson.co.nz. Now this month, there were quite a few good memes actually out there. Now the one that I like best and most related to, because it was about coffee, was this one put out again by YWAM Memes. So this one had a... Let's go back to the first... There we go. Okay, so the first one is some guy sitting down at a board meeting, YWAM staff and students, saying we need to figure out how to be less tired during lectures. One says more coffee, one says nap. The other makes the ridiculous suggestion of what if we go to bed earlier. Then he says go to bed earlier and gets tossed out the window. So I didn't even drink coffee until I joined staff at YWAM, because it was probably the only way I could make it through the day sometimes. And I'm sure that there's many YWAMers out there who can relate, which is why this meme, I felt, won the meme war this month. So well done, YWAM Memes. There's quite a few others out there. If you just search for the hashtag YWAM Memes over on Instagram, you can check them out and see what else is available. So thank you so much for listening, watching, or downloading this, the YWAM News Show for December of 2024. So you can find links to everything we talk about and also watch all the videos over at ywampodcast.com/151. You can also head over to ywampodcast.com/subscribe, and you can subscribe on all of our social media accounts, including Facebook and YouTube, as well as the podcast itself. Now, over the last few months, I've been having a lot of technical issues. I'm hoping to have that resolved soon, possibly over the Christmas period, and we'll have less stutters and hopefully a more solid audio. So thank you very much. Appreciate you guys following along and watching, and I really look forward to chatting with you again and sharing more news about what God is doing around the world next month.